Hi, this is Brandon. I'm a suture specialist with Provider Prepared. In this video, we're going to demonstrate the running suture. The running stitch is very useful on wounds that have a significant amount of length to them. It gives you an efficient means of quickly closing the wound, but still provides good approximation to the wound. For the running stitch, you will start off the same as a simple interrupted, beginning at the proximal portion of the wound. Again with 2 throws over my instrument for the instrument tie on the initial, and then 1 throw of thread or 1 loop of thread thereafter, alternating sides. Now at this point, I'm not going to cut the long tail. That is going to stay connected to this first knot. We are going to trim the short tail down to keep it out of our way. I'll reload my needle, and at this point we'll have a continuous strand of thread that will be connected for our running stitch. We will come in typically where you begin to see the wound spreading back to its original width at the margins is where you'll start with your next stitch at this point. Coming through at a similar distance from the other margin of the wound. And pull this down to create approximation at that point. Reloading the needle, keeping the thread intact without any cutting, and again coming across where the wound begins to gape open to its original width. Coming through, back out at a similar distance. One thing to be careful of with a running suture is that you do not create too much tension against the edges of the wound, strangulating the wound edges. You want to be careful that as you bring each loop of thread through and tighten it down, that you're not strangulating the wound edge. This will create a necrotic wound edge that will not heal correctly and create a worse scar. Now here is a point to demonstrate an easy mistake to make. You want to keep your tail of thread on the outside of the loop as you create each loop so that it does not lock itself down. For the sake of demonstration purposes, at this point I'll show how to finish the end of a running stitch. We'll come through at the same point, and instead of tying down this loop of stitch, you're going to leave it in the air as I have done here and begin an instrument tie with 2 loops of thread over the instrument, grasping this loop and applying tension to where it tightens your last portion of the running stitch. Pull the knot across and down, approximating the wound edge at that point, taking care again to not strangulate the edge, but just approximate it. Then alternating to the other side of the thread with a single loop and continuing with the instrument tie to finish the knot, and alternating in a typical instrument knot fashion. This finishes the running stitch, and at this point we'll clip all 3 of these tails, and your running stitch is complete.